All right, thanks for joining us, guys. So today we are going to be talking about how to build a website using Semplice. Now, the reason why I use Semplice is because I think personally it's the easiest website builder tool, especially for designers or people that aren't familiar with coding or any of the technical side of WordPress and anything like that online. As you can see, I'm not a technical person myself. The live stream completely failed, but we'll get it next time. We're making this work over here. So let me introduce myself. My name is Rahul Bogle. I am from Toronto, Canada. I run my own design studio called Nothing Design Studio. It's a brand identity and graphic design firm. And I'm here with, as you guys all know, Melinda Livesey. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Melinda Livesey. I'm a brand strategist and designer for Marks and Maker. I teach designers how to become brand strategists, and I also am the co-founder of Freelance, where we teach graphic designers how to become freelancers.
Awesome. And yeah, so we started Studio Grind. It's just so we can share our personal experiences, our expertise with as many people as possible, hoping to help them as we learn through this process ourselves. So let's get started. What are we covering today? We are going to be building a landing page. So I've been working with Melinda for a little bit on redesigning her freelance website. We've been redesigning it just so that we can optimize the landing page to target her audience better. And so that involved having quite a bit of a conversation on what's wrong, what's working, what's not working. So yeah, that essentially, and we're using Semplice to build this because in our initial conversations, she's currently using Squarespace right now. And she was using that just because, again, it's one of those simple things where it's all built for her and she just has to plug and play the stuff. So when I told her that Semplice is fairly simple and it gives you a lot more control with some of the things that, she wasn't liking about Squarespace, it was a good conversation that we had. And I'm like, this would be a good idea to share with people, walk through the entire process, and hopefully answer any questions that you guys have. So what are you going to need? So for those of you guys that have never built a site before, very, very simple things. You're going to need a domain name, which is your www. You're going to need a hosting provider. It's essentially where all the files for your website lives. Things like GoDaddy, SiteGround, HostPapa are a couple of website hosting providers. There are a bunch out there. I just picked the ones that I'm very familiar with. I personally use SiteGround. GoDaddy, they have a great brand, great customer service, and they have a lot of options as well. So you can kind of just navigate through those and see what suits you best. So why Semplice? I think I just mentioned that. I personally love it. It's a simple website builder. The dashboard and the user interface is beautiful, as you're going to see shortly. I love the UX UI. There's just so many small things about what Semplice does that makes it phenomenal. And again, I'm going to walk you through it, and you guys can let me know in the comments what you guys think about this. It'll blow you away. Also, the fact that it's really truly for designers, because it gives you a blank canvas to work with. Every page is pretty much an artboard. You can design whatever you want. You can have as many navigations as you want, as many footer themes as you want. It's just, the possibilities are endless. Integrations, these are just a few. They are integrated with Unsplash. They're integrated with MailChimp. You can load your Instagram feed on there. There are many integrations. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to cover all of them here, but these are some of the big ones that most people know. And what that means is within the website builder, you can access these tools right through the dashboard. And skills required, like I mentioned, no coding, no HTML. It does help to understand the language a bit. And again, quick Google searches with things like padding and margins. If you don't know it, if you're just exploring the dashboard on its own, I think it will help you learn, because you'll just be experimenting with certain aspects of it. That will help you understand what each thing is doing. Like, what is margins doing? What is padding doing? What does sections mean? Rows mean? And if you already know that, then it's not going to be a big deal. All right, so let's jump right into it. I'm going to show you a quick video of what Semplice looks like when you do initially launch it. As soon as you launch it, you see a dashboard like this. I'm going to pause because I went through it a little quickly. right? Again, very, very user-friendly. What's your website about? Call it whatever it needs to be called, your title and your description tag, and then just click next. We're almost done. Create your first project. And then once you create your first project, name it whatever. A project is typically like, think of it as a portfolio page, or it could be whatever page you want it to be, right? And it says, thank you for using Semplice. Please proceed to your dashboard. And that's what it looks like. Okay, so I'm actually gonna get out of this and show it to you live now. So with Semplice, it is a one-time license fee, and then you own the product for the rest of its life. But you can't share. You can't use one license key for multiple uses. So if you're building one site, that's all you can do, or you can buy their studio kit, I believe it is. Let me just open that up really quick. That gives you like 10 licenses. And this is if you're building a ton of websites, it's beneficial for that. Let me just get the name right. It's a business license. And it's good. It's good value for what you're getting. If you think about it, it's like $60 a site. So we're in here, and this is the dashboard. Really clean, really simple. You'll see 4 main navigation things here. You'll see pages, you'll see projects, customization, and setting. Pages are obviously wherever you are setting up your pages. Projects are, like I mentioned, if it's things like your portfolio or other elements that you want to build separately from your main pages.
Aaron's asking that the studio kit is $5.99. I think the business kit's $5.99.
No, the business kit is $5.99. The studio kit is, I believe, $89.99. Whoops, let's see. Oh, $138. Which again, I think it's a really, really good price for what you're getting.
And how many sites can you do? Because he's saying, so you can only do 10 sites for the studio license.
No,
I think it's only
with
10.
Studio, it's 1. So the difference between single and studio is just some of the additional features that you get. Like you get a dribble module, you get some other things like a MailChimp module. So if you're not really using all of these like heavy integrations and you're just building a simple site, then you can use single. But if you're getting into a bigger site, like they have features like design with blocks. And for this example, we are using Studio. So you'll get to see pretty much Semplice at its full potential. And then everything you see in Studio in business is just that times 10 licenses.
So then you have to, do you have to purchase a license for Semplice for every single website that you do? Like if you were to create, let's say, another website,
you'd
have to buy. Okay.
Yeah.
Except if you have the business one, is that correct?
So with the business, you can do 10 sites, 10 different sites, right? So you get 10 licenses.
I think, we got it. Okay. Thank you for clearing that up.
No problem. So just a few things as far as the customization, like you can, again, this is, if you guys are familiar with Divi, they have a similar thing. You can move this around, if it's in the way. But if you're not familiar with how grids and everything work, then you don't want to really touch this. But if you're learning how to use or how to build a website and you just don't care, you want to just go full-blown experimental with this, then by all means go ahead and do it. Grid systems usually have a very calculated, and if you guys use InDesign, to build pages and stuff like that, you'll understand this. But yeah, you can customize every small bit of this. You can do your width, grid width, your gutters, which is the spacing in between, responsive mode, which is when you are in different mobile modes, you can set that as well. I'm not going heavily into all of this because, again, I want to start building the site, but I'm just going to show you each section here. Then I'm not going to save any of that stuff. And you can add your own web fonts. We haven't added this yet. We probably will try to get it done before the end of the video. You can do your own typography customization, which essentially means on your site, you have, different elements, header 1, header 2, paragraph, all those stuff. So I can customize everything here itself. So I can turn on my H1 settings. So what it does is it will make these changes globally onto your site, which is awesome because when you start building the page and you dump in text and you just use the H1 button for it, it will automatically use those and apply those settings. So I have some of those stuff, some of these things ready. So I'm just going to, for example, set one of one or two of these typography elements based on what we designed for the site. Okay, so I'm going to set this up to, let's just say, font size 90, line height, I think I have it at 110. We'll do 100 and we'll save it. Okay. Then you have your navigations here, right? So you have like, now let's just say you're like, I want to do something very different with my navigation, but most sites like Divi and stuff like that will typically have a very standard format or navigation format. This gives you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different formats. And as you can see on my site, I use this one where it gives me the 4 corners for my navigation boxes. But you can have centered logo with your navigation below. You can have it this way. You can have it with your logo on the right and your navigation on the left. However you plan on designing it. What I'm going to do really quickly actually is jump into the design of the freelance site to give you an idea of where we're headed, so we can, when we start building these navigation items, it will at least inform you on why I'm making these decisions. So let's jump into XD. Now I use XD. There's a lot of different, people will use Affinity, people will use Photoshop still, people will use InVision Studio. There's Webflow now as well. I'm not familiar with those. I have used InVision before. It felt a little complex for me to learn, at least at that point. So that's why I stuck with XD. It was within the understanding of all of this Adobe software. So it was easier for me to grasp and learn. So this is what we will be designing. I'm just going to play the page. So this is what our landing page is going to look like.
And I wanted to just say really quick, this isn't the home page. This is a landing page for a product. So this isn't the main homepage. I just wanted to make that note.
Yeah. So, and did you share the link to what your current landing page is like, or for this?
No, but I will right now. I'll do it in the chat.
Yeah. So we have something to compare it to, and then I'll actually load that up as well, so we can see them side by side.
Oh, I have to find the actual landing page.
Okay, so I'll just go through this.
But yeah, do that and then I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, so
I find it.
So this is what we're hoping to build. This is so a couple of things with XDs. I wish they had like interactive GIFs and everything like that. I wish they can play, and I wish you can, when you do go to the prototype version, you can activate some animations and things like that. But we didn't go that deep into this. So yeah, this is what it's looking like. So we're hoping to build all of this today, and I'm gonna try to go through it as quickly as possible to show you how quick you can actually build it once you are familiar with Semplice. Okay. Am I going too fast for you guys? Are we good? How are we looking so far?
We're good. No
Okay.
comments. I'm still trying to find that landing page. It wasn't. I mean, it's one that we don't have easily accessible, so. I'm trying to find it.
Okay, no worries. All right, and so then we'll, and I can probably get Melinda to talk through this when we are actually building the site, because then she can kind of explain to you her thoughts behind why she wanted to make the change. Is that cool, Melinda?
Yeah, let me know when you want me to jump in.
All right.
Still looking for stuff.
All right, and then a nice simple footer. And so this is what we're going to be building today. So it is a long, big site, but again, it's nothing too hard to tackle. All right. And then the cool thing with XD, just a really quick review. I mean, you can build your assets here, and then when you do share this with a developer or to a team, they can make notes and all that kind of stuff. We can do a separate XD tutorial at another time. But yeah, this is super helpful to get things done really quickly.
I found the link. So guys, I'm going to put it in the chat. This is the Freelance Toolkit current landing page. So how people get there is usually we funnel them from an ad, most likely, to this landing page, or from an email. A lot of times we'll do it from some kind of email offer. So that's how they get to this landing page. They don't see it when they're on. I don't believe they don't see it at all. So it's so hard for me to find it when they're on our page. So I just want to let you guys know that's what we're designing.
Yeah, so this is what it looks like right now. And do you want to go through it, or should we walk through it later on?
No, I can walk through it
We'll
really quick.
Okay.
Just so
Go for it.
I have a business partner. We started Prelance 3 years ago. And so we just wanted to get something up really quick. We did Squarespace. I don't do websites. She had experience doing Squarespace websites, although she knows that's not necessarily her specialty. And she does a lot of marketing and Facebook ads and all that. So she designed the website really quick, and also had said too, and when we talked to Rahul, that we wanted to redesign because it didn't necessarily reflect the design of the branding of Prelance, especially that we want to be attracting other designers who have a very high standard of design. And so as you can see, the landing page, in particular, this page needed a lot of help with hierarchy. A lot of distinctions between just in the flow, in the different sections. And so, so Rahul's redesigning the Prelance website to reflect the Prelance brand overall. And so it's going to be really exciting too, to mark down the, the results and the ROI that we have going from the old site design. And then we're going to be updating it and seeing what the return on investment is with a new design. And then also we're redoing copy as well and updating that. So it's going to be a really good example, I think, of the impact of design. Is there anything else, Rahul, that we had chatted about that you wanted me to?
Yeah, I think we were just trying to figure out how do we make this page a little bit more interesting, so it's not just heaps of text. So when we were talking about the design, we just wanted to be able to block things off a little bit better, so we can. It's easier for us to retain information and also keep interest again, without it feeling like, okay, this is too much, I'm just going to skip through it. So again, if we look back at the redesign, let me just open that up really quick. You know, we changed quite a bit. Also, again, because we are attracting designers, we wanted to make this look like a beautifully designed landing page, which personally, I don't see too many good landing pages. And I think that if people did make them a little bit more intentional, they could convert a lot. And this is going to be an interesting case study for us to review what the insights of the redesign would be. So this is what we're looking at now. All right, let's just get into building this. I'm getting excited here. All right. So again, a few things. So like I mentioned, the navigation, because that's a specific landing page, the navigation compared to the first page is going to be different. So this is where it's helpful. We can have multiple navigations. I'll build a navigation later on, only because right now we need to focus on that page. You can have customized thumb hover options. You know, really, really cool stuff here, guys. It's so simple. You can scale the thumbnail as well. So when you hover on top of an image, so let's just say I add an image here. I should have optimized this image. I didn't. But let's just say if I have an image here, I can have a no scale, I can have full cover. So everything is very accessible. Now I'm not going to have this here because it'll make that effect globally. But again, just giving you guys a quick view on what these looks like. The next thing would be page transitions. This is really cool as well. So, you know, when you click on a button, what do you want your page to do? How do you want it to transition? You can have a simple like fade in, fade out, or you can have something where it's like, let's just reveal this one. Hold on. So I haven't done any.
Can you apply custom CSS to these features, Aaron's asked?
Yeah, you can. So to any of this stuff, you can go even further with it and just completely code the heck out of it. I'm just for simplicity's sakes, I'm not even like touching CSS right now, but there might be, while I'm building the site, I might have to add some stuff. I tried my best to design it in a way where I don't have to code additional CSS, but yes, you can. And I'll show you where you can do that as well. So yeah, let's just say this is one, you know, default transition out of the box. You can preview what it looks like, you know, and this is what will happen when you click on any button and it goes to another page. You can right to left, top to bottom, all these kind of things. It's really, really cool. I'm going to, so project panels. Again, I'm not diving too deep into the transitions, only because we can spend a lot of time exploring various transition styles. I'm just trying to give you guys a quick review of each little item here. This is where you would do things like your text colors, link color, hover colors. Again, this would be a global setting, and then anything independent you could change. You know, your load bar, so when your pages are loading, you can change that. Global footer, so you can select, so you can make multiple footers and multiple navigations, but then you can set one globally, so you don't have to go on each page to set that specific header or footer for it. Because we haven't created anything right now, we don't have anything there.
Dylan was saying this from a designer's perspective, this whole interface seems a lot easier to use.
Yeah, it is like, it's amazing. We haven't even gotten to the page builder yet. So add a new footer. We'll do this after again, and then your blog section here. Some additional settings are here, you know, your general settings and your license and everything. This is where you would do it. So general is like, what is your, you know, site title, your homepage display, if you want it to display your latest posts, or a static page, which would be like home, about, whatever it could be. It could be a landing page. If, you know, Melinda chooses to run a campaign, it could be specifically that.
Hey, Rahul, we have a question really quick.
Yep.
We're talking about styles right now versus the layout. Can we customize these as we build them, or is it like a step one?
Yeah, you can. I mean, this is where you do all your this is where you would put in all your additional CSS code, your HTML head. Or you can do it again independently within the pages. So you can go do it as you're going along. It does help to have, I know myself, sometimes I change the design on the fly just because I'm not actually liking it once it's being built and I'm seeing it interacting with everything. So that helps, where you can just specifically do some trial and error and change stuff. Does that help? Does that answer it?
Yeah.
Question?
Yeah.
I'm noticing that right. Okay, cool. Favicon, all your Google Analytics, everything's right here. Very, very simple. All right, so let's get started with building a page. We're gonna add a new page. Now, I did build one, but I'm gonna do this from scratch for you guys. So let's call this, what do you wanna call this, Melinda?
Freelance toolkit.
All right. Freelance toolkit. You can, right off the bat, you can add it to your page navigation, which is really cool and helpful. We're not going to do that for this instant because I'll show you how to do that later on. I'm going to add this page. So here we get started. This is all the tools we need. You can exit. If you go exit, you'll see quick links to everything, which is, you know, your customization section. Let's just say you forgot something, you need to jump into it right away. You can go through here, or you can go through all your pages and your projects, and you can jump through pages very, very quickly. So on the top here, it's add your paragraph. Everything is a drag and drop type of feature. So your text, your images, you know, if you have a gallery, you would just drag and drop this. So I'll show you what that looks like. If I drag and drop a text here, it'll give it to me in a very basic default style. If I drag and drop an image. So now you see how like all these sections have come in place. So a section essentially is an independent section. Everything that you want to house within that section, you would, it's like grouping things, right? Like a folder or with a bunch of layers. If you want everything to sit within the same information section, or you want to separate them, this is where you would do that. So I'll give you an example of that in a second, but I'm just going to add a row. So this is within that same section. I'm going to add a row. So right now the image is just sitting underneath it. I can do galleries. I can do self videos, horizontal spacers. And I think we'll end up using most of these features today. So it'll give you a better idea rather than me just kind of dumping these in here. One of my favorite features in this are blocks and modules. So what modules does, it gives you a bunch of customization sections. So if you wanted to, I think Aaron was asking about like adding custom CSS. If I add this in right here, embedded content, if I click on it, I will get all my options to, sorry, I think I dragged the wrong one. Module, oh, sorry, code, my bad. I was going a little ahead of myself. There we go, code module. If I click on this, and edit code. For those that are developers, you're right into writing any of your scripts, your CSS. This is where you would do everything and then just save it and it will apply it within this page, right? So that's a cool feature. I'm going to delete this because we don't need it. Blocks is like, let's just say I create a certain section that's on repeat on many sites. It could be like a call to action or something like that that has certain text. You can create a block out of it. And what that looks like is, let's just say Semplice gives you a few like variations of what blocks can look like. So if you want to do columns and you want to do 2 columns, 3 columns, and you're not too sure how to start, they've kind of built it here for you. And then if I drag and drop this anywhere, it will load up pretty much lorem ipsum, so you can kind of start building from here. Right?
Hey,
Again,
Rahul, are you able to create templates and design using dynamic content, like a blog post page?
Yeah, you would just create your blog from it, or you can load using a specific page. Where's that?
So don't kill me for saying this, but this does look similar, but of course not as me. I mean, this is way better, but it's similar to what Squarespace has offered. So I can see why people gravitated towards Squarespace. I'm talking for myself, but yeah, but Semplice is obviously way better.
So here in each item, you'll have your independent sections, you'll have your columns, and then you'll have your section. So if I want to delete this, I can just get rid of it. There's other ways to do it too. I can go into reorder and I can reorder everything. And that's why sections are good, because it's, say if you know that there's something that has to be within a section that could be moved, just build it into another section. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all this stuff. So let's say I started with the hero or the landing page. This is where it's at. I'm going to click it. I'm going to take this section. So here's the format where I can go header 1, right? And that's already there. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to click a section where it goes options. And options mean grid, fluid, gutter, which gutter is, your, how do I state that? Gutter is your gutter. It's the same thing as InDesign and everything like that. I'm going to call it full screen. Okay, so that means the entire section is full screen. And then I'm going to align it vertically. Okay. And I need another piece of text because I need to write attention graphic designers. So let's grab this and go right above this paragraph. And we can fine tune like boldness and all that stuff. Let's just get everything going first. And right now we're building it for browser viewport, but the good thing is everything is right here, responsiveness, and we can right off the bat change the way we need this to act and behave. And it will automatically change that. So right now this is huge. I'm just going to bring this to, let's just say 36 and about 10 pixels more.
See, like all this stuff too, the fact that you can easily change the padding, that is not possible on Squarespace. It's so difficult.
Because I remember you were having issues with the padding on your main text. It was just huge.
Can you control what breakpoint you see? That's from Aaron. Like iPhone, can you control what breakpoint you see, like an iPhone 6 versus iPhone X?
No, I think they will probably give you something most common. And that's a good question. I haven't looked into that. So I'm going to give this about 50 pixels. And it's starting to look pretty good. It's starting to look like the front page. I made this a bit bigger than our actual design. So now this is our first section. It's done. I'm going to add our next section. So when I scroll here, add next section. And we're going to copy and paste this. Now what we need to do is we have to have an image over here on the side. So we'll take this and bring the image right beside it. Drag and drop. There you go. You've got 2 columns. You want to add another image, you'll get 3 columns. I will take this and upload an image that it's already in here. Okay, and within this, you can do a lot with your images too. Okay, so you can style it with transparencies and drop shadows, which I am going to do that right now. So I think with the drop shadows, I was going to do it moving upwards. So let's go -10. Okay, no, this is horizontal. And again, yeah, if anytime you need to do anything in reverse, you just minus it. The blur, I want to blur this out like this. I'm going to bring down the opacity till about, in our style guide, I think it was at about 15 or 20. I think it was 10.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and I'll bring the blur down a bit more.
Aaron said that he read that Semplice can work with prototyping tools like Figma. Can it work with XD?
I don't know. I have actually never tried. That's a good question. I'm hoping we were supposed to have people from Semplice join us on the live stream. I don't know if they're on this group chat, but yeah, we'll try to figure that out. Okay, so that's that there. I do need to push this up because in the design I had it above the black line, but let's get that line in here first. Background, black, save. Now, ideally, all my paragraph settings would already be set. Okay, so if it was paragraph, it would already be 30, and I wouldn't have to touch any of this stuff. And if you go into your font options, you can load like unlimited amount of fonts. You usually don't need to do that. You would want 2 to 3, but we're just using whatever is preloaded in here. And then later on, when we want to style it, we'll style it then. Okay, so we're going to go 30 and 40. We're going to use this section now to make all of the contents within the section in the center. So sometimes you would see like, oh, I need to get this center, and you'd have to add a bunch of code. This is already there for you, which is amazing. And then I need to move this image above a bit. So what I'll do is I'll probably take the margin and go -100. That may be too much. Let's go 75, and we go okay. I need to give this some space. How is this, guys? Let me know. Are you being blown away? Is this too fast? Is this too complicated? Let me know what's going on.
Aaron's loving it. He's saying that alignment tools are badass and aligning in Divi is a nightmare. So sounds like he says that aligning in Divi is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Dylan's being blown away in a good way. I'm curious as to people's experience with Webflow as compared to if they have used it.
See, Webflow, the good thing with Webflow is like, it is like you can do unlimited amount of things. You do have some restrictions as far as like e-commerce and things like that. But if you're good enough of a coder, I think you can probably find a way to hack and make it work. But this is not what they've made it for. They've made it for designers. So that's why it works for them.
Oh, Aaron saying he tried it and was too overwhelmed with all the options. That's how I would be. Because I like the fact that this is actually really close to Squarespace, because I'm one of those like, just make it really easy for me because I just need to pump things out for my own website. Yeah. And they're saying, Janessa's saying that Webflow is more of a learning curve. So it sounds like this is really good, like you said, for designers who just want to hop into it really fast, and maybe ones that like want to create a really nice website, but maybe not want to have all of the options they could possibly have. Yeah, the easier the better. So true. I'm with you guys.
All right. We're going to have this done in no time.
How is it for e-commerce? Do you know?
For e-commerce?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have e-commerce options. You'd have to either code it in or connect it with another platform.
Got it. Whereas that's where Webflow you could, right?
Yeah.
Good to know.
Even with that though, then I think it is a learning curve with that as well.
And would possibly WooCommerce work?
Yeah. WooCommerce.
This is all from Aaron because I would have no clue to ask that question.
Okay.
You guys make me
WooCommerce. I mean, with WordPress, you can build a free e-commerce site with WooCommerce, but then I think you need to have a better understanding of how to use a website builders. 'Cause, 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 at this at 80.
That's probably one of my favorite things that I'm seeing so far.
Yeah. So should I actually, no, you want me to keep going, or you want me to load that demo page that I already have gone?
Well, guys, let's see with them. So for you guys that are watching, is there something specific that you want to see? Because we do have a whole page that he has the demo page that he can show you. If there's a certain something that you want to see how to build it, let us know in the chat. Or you could show the dummy page, and then if you guys want us to stop on a particular section and ask about it, maybe that's maybe that might be helpful.
Yeah, let me add this image in the back in this section, because I know that's something we had in here. So we're going to get here.
And like you can see, it does integrate with Unsplash. I know you mentioned that at the beginning, but
yeah. So it's right there. I'll just have to give it some space. So underneath this text, I'll probably give it 200 pixels. I can give it more space if I want. Not a big deal.
So Aaron's asking, when you design sites, is always getting creative with mobile menus and animated hamburger icons?
Yeah.
And if you could see some of that.
Sure. Okay. So just quickly, if you want to change the width of the column, you just drag, and that's it. I'm done with that.
Yeah, that's right. Nice.
So that makes sure that you don't have to do hard returns on your text, and it's truly responsive, and I can add additional things beside it. So that's great as well. Sorry, what was that last one? You are looking for what menus look like?
Creative mobile menus and animated hamburger icons.
Okay. So
we have John from Semplice also to answer questions about integration with Figma and InVision. Awesome. John, thanks for joining.
Yes, thank you, John. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, nice to see you. Thank you for joining.
So if John can answer that, why don't I go on to the further build portion of this, and that way we can carry on a little quicker.
For John to answer the mobile menus?
Yeah.
Have you done that before to show?
The animation, there is a subtle animation to the hamburger menu, but if you want to fully customize it, then you'd have to CSS it.
Okay, maybe we could see that after you show us what you were going to. Just so we could see it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go to the demo. All right, so this is much more further along. There's things like spacing if you want to have blank spaces. We've embedded a GIF in here. So we're just further along the whole thing, which is
Are you
great.
just taking the GIFs from Giphy? Where are you getting the GIFs from?
Yeah, but I downloaded them and self-hosted it. I self-hosted it just because I was already doing that anyways, but you should be able to link it, I think, from a link from Giphy. This portion was a little bit tricky for me just because I was trying to do it without any CSS to have this overlay. And you can see I've intentionally left like a blank text here. So it's sort of just hacking it with leaving text, and you can probably just black it out here or set it to transparency. And then what I've done here is essentially this section is a small section here, but it kind of looks like we're overlaying. So I've just added a background of yellow, and then within this text area, I've added, sorry, where'd it go? I've added a background here. Okay.
Are there section transitions? Like a diagonal section end?
Yes, motions. So you can do it in each one. So you can have, you can add delays, you can add on scroll, on click, on mouse hover for each one. So let's just say you're scrolling and you want this one to appear first. You just mess around with the timing there, which is great. And I believe you can do it individually within the text as well. Yeah. So each text you can have a motion. You can have it individually or by the section. It really depends on how you want to move that motion.
Aaron sounds like he should have worded that differently. So he must have a different kind of question.
Oh, sorry.
Like a section end? But you can keep going with what you're doing as Aaron puts in the chat what he meant.
So remember how I was talking about you can delete individual sections just so it helps, or you can move it over. So you can do that here, right? Reorder it.
Oh, so on our first, they're giving, or Finn gave the Freelance Toolkit original page, and we do have like a diagonal. I think that was an image, Finn.
Oh, that line?
Yeah, where it was like diagonal and it was gray. I want to say that was an image, but I could be wrong. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's an image. I'm sure you can find a way to like hack it, but you would need to use CSS. I don't think there's anything right off the box for that. I don't know if John can help with it. Essentially, it's just creating like diagonal lines within the actual section and page in the background.
I'm just going to verbalize what's in the chat for those of you that are just listening and unable to look at the chat. So Aaron gave an example in the chat, and it is of like an image, and then it's cut at the bottom diagonally. And so John from Semplice did respond back that you would need to use CSS to create a slanted section edge like the one that Aaron had showed. You could use section image, though, as a short hacky method. And they said, great idea for a feature request, though. So thanks for mentioning that, Aaron.
So once you've created your block, like I mentioned, if you don't want to redo this entire section, you can just duplicate, which is helpful. And then if you need to edit that section a bit more, like a 1 column and 2 column, I can just get rid of one of these columns here. By clicking on it, it'll be highlighted. Right? I can click on this section. So text is just individual, right? Because there's a text and there's an image in here. So I'm going to click on this column, and then I'm just going to delete it. And this will automatically adjust. So we didn't want this to change. So we just go back in here again, just resize this, and then resize this to fit the rest of the page. And then right now, because this is just a standard placeholder image, you would create your image either to fit this section, whether it has an image or text or whatever the case is. I'm not going to fill in the images right now just because I don't think it's necessary. I'm just going to move on to the next section, which is adding more text. So we're going to go here, add section.
Aaron's loving the resizing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
If you guys have any specific questions, put them in the chat. I'm thinking too, we're coming up on an hour, so I wanted to let you guys know while Rahul's doing this, how you can win. So because you joined us live and you tracked down the Zoom link and you're here right now, thank you so much for joining us. Semplice has been kind enough to give us some licenses to give away to you guys. So how you guys can win is posting about this on either Instagram or Twitter, and let us know your one key takeaway and then the first site that you would want to make if you were to win the Semplice license. Make sure to tag Rahul, tag me, and tag Semplice. So either do that on Instagram or do that on Twitter. If you want to include an image, a screenshot, that is cool too. So one key takeaway, the first site that you'd want to make with it, and then tag us, us three. That would be awesome. And then we will most likely announce the winner by the end of the week. I don't even know what day we're on right now. It's Monday. Yes, so definitely by the end of the week, we'd have a winner for you guys. But thank you, Semplice, for...
Yes, you guys are amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And they have a bunch of tutorials as well on how to get started. So that's really helpful. And the team has always been really good with answering any questions. So, okay, I think we've had enough of this. Let me create a footer aspect of it just so you can see what that looks like. And then if we want, we can go into a navigation, the nav bar. A quick thing that I want to show you guys as well is like each section you can brand it. So you can have your custom CSS here as well. You can reset animations. You can choose to have your nav bar like after the navigation or straight on top. And what that does is essentially is like sometimes when you, let's just say in this instant, I have all of this text here and I want it to be a full width section, so it is like a full cover. If I have a navigation on top, it'll push everything down a bit by whatever the size of the navigation. Some people have huge navigation, some people have small. So if you just do straight on top, it will eliminate any padding or anything that affects your page. And then other cool things are page settings, right? So your SEO and everything goes in here. So you can do the title of the page. So I can change it here, freelance, right? I can have permalinks changed here. I can, right now I've hidden the navigation. I can go show, and then I can select my specific navigation bars here. So everything's customizable right through here. Different footer elements. And then your SEO, which is, it's not enabled yet, but once I enable Yoast SEO, which I'll do right now, actually, just so we can see what that looks like. You can pretty much do your meta tags and everything within that section for each page, which is really helpful as well. Activate. All right, let's get back in here. So I think John's asking what type of license is being given away. Or sorry, Aaron is asking that.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it. So SEO settings. So your title and description goes here. You can have your Facebook and your Twitter. So this has been really good too, because I can upload specific image sizes. So they actually work better when you share it on Facebook or Twitter, rather than it the scale getting all messed up. So this is really helpful. And then sometimes you want to have different descriptions for different platforms, just because it makes more sense to have it that way.
Dylan, I know you were gone. You didn't hear the giveaway. So Semplice is giving us 3 licenses to give away. So I put in the chat, it's kind of broken up, but you can see what you need to do to get a chance to win. So post on Instagram or Twitter, include one key takeaway from today's call, include the first site you'd want to build with it, with Semplice, and then tag Rahul, me, and Semplice, and then we'll announce the winner by the end of the week. And we're checking on what type. Oh, studio license. Awesome. Nice. Thank you, John.
You are the best. That's awesome. All right, I'm going to really quickly create a footer element just so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to keep duplicating my columns just so I can add it. Section. So let's just say that this was something I was going to use repeatedly. I can actually go to blocks and save this as my own block. So that way, anytime I'm going into another page, rather than having to recreate the whole thing, I just literally drag and drop it, which is amazing. So we don't have, I didn't build any sort of navigation items here. This is where the nav quick links would be. So I'm just going to type it in for now. And I'm just going to do samples, courses, contact, and then you would just obviously link them to pages. Let's just say whatever the URL is here. You can do text to display title, target none, or new window, which is all right in here. So within this section, I'll add my margin. And then let's just save this. And go back to dashboard. So let me just publish it. So we have our main footer. Now we can go in here.
Everyone's saying he's designing his post. Good.
Okay.
You guys, the best design is going to get our attention. Not saying that it's necessarily going to win, but it is going to get our attention. We have to think of the, what is it? How we're going to judge these too. Creativity, thought, design.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Very diplomatic. Okay, so we can take a look at the preview of what everything's looking like so far. I think I did add the nav, but I haven't created, okay, I didn't add the nav. So yeah, like this is what, oh, there it is. Sorry. So freelance work, this is just very basic based on what's added in our menu. We can remove the background color. We can make it black, we can make it white, transparent. but this is looking good. Like this is not too bad. And I think because considering the fact that we've been like talking about each step, it went longer than I expected, but you know, I'm hoping that I covered a lot of things for you guys. But just considering like maybe about 30 minutes of like build time, and we've already gotten quite a bit. And here's your footer, right? If you had links and stuff like that here, it's already there. I can eliminate this from certain sections. So like I said, if this is a landing page and you're building a campaign, you don't want to see certain things, you can completely remove that, which is, again, just really, really easy. There we go. So this is what we had designed. So what we'll end up doing is we'll create this as a navigation link. Get your toolkit now. And we'll have the logo up here and we'll keep it very simple. And then when we scroll down, you'll see everything. We can add our animations. So maybe I'll give you one sample before we go of what an animation could look like. All right. And then this would be a GIF or a GIF, however people want to say it. All right. So these are all the sections, buttons. I know we didn't get a chance to cover buttons, but it's very simple. Testimonials.
Yeah, we'll have some video testimonials too. I know.
Yeah.
Some people on this call actually gave some video testimonials as well. Yeah, if you want to close us out with an animation, and then we'll end there. Okay. And then if you guys have any additional questions, reach out. Any platform, email, Instagram, Twitter, you can post, you can DM us with extra questions if there's something that maybe as you guys start using this, if you're coming across something, you have a question, then it'd be cool if you reached out to us. We'll see Rahul, because I have never done this. Right, nor have I ever built a WordPress website. So.
Let's do we'll do it on load. Okay, let's see what the generic one looks like, just so you get an idea, because this can be overwhelming, especially when you don't know what everything does. There are sites online that give you a sample. I can't think of it on top of my head, but they'll give you an example of each easin. I'll try to look for that and put it in our YouTube link. Let's add an opacity. So it starts at, let's just say it starts at 0 and it ends at 100% opacity. We can do something crazy where it starts at 77 and scales up to like 200, just so you can fully see what happens. We can move it from one axis to another. So let's say we got that. Okay. So let's take a look at what this is going to look like. I think we can preview it here. So before you actually publish it, you can preview it in here, and then you can also look at it. Where'd it go? There it is. So there was a delay of like 8 seconds, but you saw that, right? So yeah, that's something you can kind of adjust, but that's pretty cool, right? You just have to time it out and figure it out how you want it to interact. The best example I can give you, and this took a little bit of trial and error when I built some of the interactions on my site, because I didn't know this is what I wanted to do, to be honest. But because I started messing around with some of the features, I'm like, hey, this could be really cool if I was able to make this effect work. Okay, so this right here, where I got it to stick and I got everything to fade, was amazing, right? So there's no customization. It's all using the animation or the motion within the actual site. So getting the right spacing took a little bit of math. And then even if you notice the video here, until I hit the point where I don't want it anymore, and then it's gone, right? And then just even doing that. So that was a really subtle but cool effect that you can do.
Awesome.
All right. So
yeah, guys, any other questions, comments? You guys gonna use it? Yeah, so some people, Dave, itching to use it on your next build. Awesome. Yeah, please show us too. We'd love to see it. I'm sure Semplice would love to see it too. And John had mentioned, if you guys have any specific questions, make sure to reach out to them. I know they're super helpful. So yeah, ask them. So any parting questions? We're hitting like almost an hour and a half. So
yeah.
Aaron might use it for his portfolio site. Awesome. We'd love to see it, Aaron. All right. Well, should we wrap it up, Rahul?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Awesome. All right. Well, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and subscribe to Studio Grind if you haven't yet already. We will be putting up some videos. So thank you for bearing with us with our tech issues. Glad you're here. Glad you found the link.
Yeah.
And like, comment, subscribe so we can.
I mean, this was our first live, so this was bound to happen. Yeah. I was like, we had this all set up about like a week ago, and it was working perfectly fine, no issues. And it was just like, this was bound to happen. So
hey, where's our outro? Aaron's asking where our outro is.
Yeah, our outro. We before the call, we're like, we still don't have our intro and outro. But yeah, once we get our tech issues solved, we'll get the outro solved.
No, you got to do the outro right now. Rahul, it's on you.
We got to do our outro. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you guys like this. This is so awkward when you don't have it planned. I feel like it would have been a lot better if it was on YouTube, because I would have been like, it's a different platform. But because this is, anyways. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this was helpful. We're just hope. Should we try that again?
No, like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, ring that bell, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. All right, guys. Thanks.
All right, thanks for joining. Bye, guys.
Yeah.